Hello, I'm Mr. Hartgrave, and I wanted to make this video because there seems to be a lot of confusion out there around Teostra. I've noticed that whenever I fight Teostra, it seems like people are confused whether we're going to win, whether we're going to lose, causing people to back out early or stay too late, and this video should help clear that up for you. I've fought many Teostras at this point, so I'm going to try to bring all of my experience to this video. I'm going to walk you through a couple of fights here, 2 fails and 1 victory, so you can kind of see what I'm looking for when I back out, when I stay and fight, the fight or flight response that I have. Now, if you want to see more videos on Monster Hunter Now on this channel, make sure you leave a comment down below. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's show you the first Teostra fail. I think it's important that you see the failures and what I'm looking for. Now, right off the jump, we do notice we have some bone gun lance users. They're getting a lot of heat online. I've noticed in online forums for not targeting parts to break. And actually, that's going to be a big part of winning or losing this Teostra. Now, this is a shame that I lost this fight because you're going to see me. I'm playing great. But it's a team effort, guys. Everyone's got to be firing on all cylinders to beat the Teostra. It is one of the most, might be the most difficult monster in Monster Hunter Now right now to beat. And it kind of requires everyone to be on their best game. And the bone lance, gun lance is extremely strong. But if you don't target parts, you're just doing kind of like bulk damage to the monster, and you're not going to put Teostra in a state where you can do the most damage in the time that you have. Now, a lot of people would quit right here. Not getting Teostra to, not getting a Deora to its second state within 30 seconds was normally the condition where we would back out of a fight. However, I have beat many Teostras by getting it to the second state with only 10 seconds left on the clock. So there's no reason to quit right now. You're going to want to keep a close eye on it, though, because you can actually do an extreme amount of damage in its second phase very quickly if you break apart. But if you're not going to break its head, if you're not going to chop off its tail, then you're not going to stun the Teostra long enough to do the kind of damage you need to do in order to defeat it. Now, I have tried beating the Teostra with Sword and Shield, and I have settled on Longsword. I just found that I did more damage using the Longsword. I was able to sustain a higher DPS with that than I was Sword and Shield, plus the Sword and Shield I was using was a little weaker than my Longsword build. So it's going to be up to you. I've seen people do well both with ranged weapons and long-distance weapons. Now, here is where you're going to really start wanting to pay attention to the Teostra and its health levels. This is the part of the fight where you're going to want to start thinking about backing out. It's in the last 20 seconds of the second phase. This is where things get dicey. And right here, if I would have hit this Helmbreaker, I would have stayed and we probably would have beat it. However, missing that Helmbreaker was no good and forced me to back out. And I'm sorry, I let everybody else down as well by missing that. It can be hard to hit Teostra with your special moves if you're using melee weapons, as I was. It's best to kind of wait for him to stop moving before you hit your special attack. And knowing the animations is a big part of knowing when you should hit your special. I was doing very good throughout the rest of the fight, probably carrying that group if we're going to be honest. But missing that Helmbreaker was kind of the deciding factor. And that's when I usually jump out of the Teostra. It's in the last 10 seconds, the last 20 seconds. I really try to stay and fight, even if the first phase isn't going well, because the second phase can go very fast if you break apart, which you're going to see when we do the success. The successful run of this, spoilers, involves breaking his head. Getting the head break is pretty much crucial. That's what gives us our ultimate victory on the Teostra, is that head break. And if you're not playing with the crew, so you'll notice that I'm not targeting the head, right? I think to target the head, it's better off if you're doing ranged. So getting some ranged players is nice for that. The Teostra is focused on players who are further out to give you better access to its hindquarters. The tail area is where you really want to be with your melee weapons. and trying to go for a tail break if possible, although you got to put out an extreme amount of damage to break any part on the Teostra. And it's safest to hit it from the side, much like the Zignor. But you're not going to break any parts on the side. On the Zignor, you could usually hit some claws over there and get a break that way, but I don't think there's a claw break on the Teostra, so you're not going to get it that way. You got to either be targeting the head or the tail. You can break the wings, and that does, reduce its mobility a little bit, but it's not going to stun the monster and give you those extra hits that you need to do the damage that you need to do to ultimately kill the Teostra, which is, I think, that's why you're watching this video. You want to kill the Teostra. Once again, I'm playing expertly on this. I'm getting off a lot of moves I don't normally do, so I was happy about that. I was able to perfect evade the Teostra explosion. Usually just need to be about 2 or 3 rolls away to avoid that explosion. No big deal on that. I think in the first 2 runs here, I don't even take any damage from the Teostra. In the successful run, I'll actually end up taking a hit. But we'll still be victorious because the party overall was putting out greater DPS. And there I am quitting at the 10-second mark. It just if you're not, I usually fight the Teostra to the hilt. The only reason why I'll back out, I think I'll back out of the first part at the 10-second mark as well. If we haven't gotten to the second phase of the Teostra and there's 10 seconds and only 10 seconds left on the clock, that might be a very good reason to back out on the first section as well. Although I think if you fail on the first section, it doesn't deflect the monster or make the monster retreat. So you can still fight it again. Another good thing to know, if you join the Teostra late and you don't kill it and you don't repel it, you can go fight another raid. It won't eat up your ticket for the day or your ticket for that 3-hour period or whatever. So that's a good thing to know, because I usually try to join my Teostras. Another good tip about these Teostras is you want to make sure to try and join them at the start, because I've had them take 20 minutes before, 30 minutes, the whole time limit, because I just can't find the right crew. Now, this is a very good sign that we're going to kill this Teostra. And that is that we get it to its second stage within 30 seconds. You don't need to get it in its second stage at the 30-second mark. But it really, really does help. And it's a very, very good sign if your crew can do that. It's not necessary. But it was a very good time for me to take a hit as well, because it didn't really reduce my damage. I just I fell down right when I wasn't able to hit the Teostra anyways. Whenever he comes out of his first explosion, he usually puts a whole bunch of bombs out in front of him. And I find in this second stage, it's really important to kind of stay behind him. You don't really want to be in front of him. When he goes up in the air like this, as long as you're close, he's not going to hit you with that fire. So you can kind of swing away there if you're a melee user. And I think I'm going to hit a pretty good helm breaker here to finish him off. And what's really going to do it is getting that part break. Once again, always keeping an eye on him when he jumps up in the air. You usually got enough time to back off. That was probably the minimum amount of distance. And then as soon as he explodes, you can rush right in and start hitting him again, which you're going to want to do. So we get the wing break, and it only knocks him, it only stuns him for like a little bit. It's not as good as the head break. Actually, it looks like I broke the head. Yeah. I'm just that awesome. And I was going for the tail too, but we had already won. There wasn't enough time. We won with 27 seconds on the clock. So that was a definitive victory against a Teostra. That's as good as it goes. It doesn't have to go that good. You can, of course, kill it with more time left on the clock, but that's how it should look when it's going really, really well. And you saw the other two. I mean, the other two were close, especially the one where I missed the helm breaker. If I would have hit the helm breaker, we probably would have won. Got 2 tails from this one. Excellent victory. I was very happy with that. And hopefully you're doing well out there hunting. Let me know if you have any questions about endgame Monster Hunter Now. I know I haven't put out a video on this for a very long time. I took a bit of a break away from making videos on Monster Hunter Now. But I know a couple of them were pretty popular back when the game launched. I've never stopped playing. I play every day. But I just don't find there's much to say about it because a lot of people weren't at like the end game level when I was making videos on it. But if you're out there and you're an endgame Monster Hunter player and you would like some more endgame Monster Hunter Now coverage, let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. And grave diggers, keep digging.
He is I, and I am him, and I'm the undisputed trend Matt Taven. And this dork behind the camera, some Melvin told me to say, grave diggers keep on digging. Whatever that means.
I am AEW wrestler and Ring of Honor tag champ Mike Bennett. And remember, grave diggers keep digging, but not the monster truck. Even though my son really likes that monster truck, I kind of like Son of a Digger, and so I'm going off on a tangent about monster trucks because my son really loves monster truck, but we're talking about the YouTube channel, so make sure, grave diggers, keep on digging, baby.
So this is Mark doing one happy private party, saying what up to the grave diggers, and you doing your thing, bro.
Alright, like, subscribe, and watch another video, or be cursed. If you're cursed, that means the grave diggers will keep digging your graves. So, you probably want to do it.